that on there, and he's it's not funny, but it was. he's over the phone talking about how he's basically violating someone. And he's just, oh, don't do that! Oh, no! Oh, she's begging for mercy! Oh, look at her trip! Oh, that's, or whatever it was. But it was really sick and twisted, and I loved it. What is that? Oh! Oh, man, I love these. Yeah. How about you just being bad? Yeah.
How do you apply to be a director?
How do you apply to be a director?
Like for you, when you're interested in directing a show, how do you, like, do you know a show in advance that you approach saying I would like to do it, or say I'm going to show you?
Yes, that's a great question. When I was at ADV, I started at ADV in 1996. And I worked there for about 4 years as a voice actor. And then one day I just said to myself, like, you know, I've watched these directors. This isn't rocket science. And I'm not a rocket scientist. I can do this. So I asked them if they were looking to hire, and they were like, oh my God, yes. And this was actually at a very critical point at ADV where, I mean, they were at their peak, and they could not, they had 5 studios running from 9 in the morning till 10 o'clock at night, simultaneously, just like a factory. So they were looking for people. So I started directing, and then they were just giving me shows. You didn't really get a chance to pick the shows. They would just hand you a show. And then you would, you know, do your research. I'll tell you a great example is, you know, Sergeant Frog. Yeah. Sergeant Frog started at ADV. I've got a copy of Sergeant Frog that no one in the world has because we recorded it one way that'll never get released before Funimation got a hold of it. It's got, you know, Vic is the lead for his Carero, and I mean, it's just, that particular show went through several gestation periods with different actors and whatnot. So you don't really get a chance to pick your show. But when you do get a show, you want to do as much research as possible and learn about it as much as possible. Of course, you watch, you know, dubs of it so you can understand what's going on and that kind of thing. And read as much on it as you can, just so you know if you're familiar with it. But yeah, so, yep. What do you mean from someone else? Yeah, okay. Oh, yeah, no, that's a very good question. So, do I get asked to do a part? See, I play a lot of fathers. It's very Disney. I don't know. So yeah, I got asked to do Hohenheim in Full Metal Alchemist, which was originally voiced by Scott McNeil, who's a brilliant, brilliant voice actor. And but there was a problem because he's from Canada, and there was a work issue. I mean, so they said, you know, John, could you do this? So I had to audition, had to be approved by the Japanese. You know, and they wanted me to be as close to them as I could, but not mimic it, if that makes sense. And so that's what I did. So the same thing was with Gendo, the same thing was with Full Metal, with Hohenheim. And I did listen to him a little bit, but I didn't want to take too much, you know, because I'm not Scott, and, you know, I'm me. And anytime any of you ever want to do voiceover, the thing you must remember is you're you, and you're the only you in the world, and your voice is unique. So that's your strength. You want to build on that. So I didn't want to mimic Scott. I wanted it to make him, make Hohenheim my own. But I needed to sound somewhat like, obviously you don't want to, if Scott's doing something like this, I don't want to walk in and go, "Hi, I'm the new Hohenheim." You don't want to do something like that, but you don't want to, you're not trying to just mimic what it is. And, there's stuff on YouTube that compares me and Tristan as Gendo and me and Scott as Hohenheim, and I didn't make the decision. I didn't fire Scott, so anyone that goes, "Well, we don't like you replace Scott McNeil." I'm like, well, dude, he's Canadian. I'm sorry. Didn't have a work visa. I'll get you 1 second. Yeah. No, not you. The back there. Yeah.
This guy.
Yeah.
So I would like to break into the industry and become a voice actor myself.
Mm-hmm.
And I was wondering if you had advice on like how to go about doing so. Do you have a place I can just work underneath you?
That sounds so wrong. Okay, down there. Do you live in Seattle?
I do not.
Where do you live?
Around Eugene and Oregon.
Okay. Even worse. And not that Eugene's a bad place, but I'm just saying if you want to work in the industry, you've got to live in a town that does it. That would be Vancouver, Los Angeles, or Dallas. Those are the three, if you want to do this stuff. Especially LA, because there's a lot more animation work. But the three hot spots for anime are Vancouver, Los Angeles, and Texas. Is there two Vancouvers? There's a what? BC, yeah. Stone Age. But if you want to do it, that's where you have to be. I live in Houston, and the only reason I'm able to live in Houston and work in Dallas is it's a 4-hour drive, but I've been around for a long time, and so I've got a reputation, and but I'm not up there every week or anything. I go up about once a month for a day or two and record 4 or 5 different shows or whatever's needed. So, but that's what I would suggest. Well, you bet, man, and I love your beard. I tried to do that, and I just gave up. So. Yeah, you got a beard to give? Yeah. Anybody else? Yes, sir. Yeah. Yeah. Stephen Foster directed that. And I don't think Stephen Foster was even in the room when he directed that. I think he just said, say whatever the hell you want and we'll move on. What's that? Yes. It was completely ad-libbed. Yeah. The whole show was ad-libbed. Yeah. We're actually recording it right now. That's how ad-libbed it was. It was completely ad-libbed. He just threw out the script, didn't even want to mess with it, and he just thought, let's just do this. Turned out to be a big hit. Kind of. But, yeah.
What show are you talking about?
Ghost Stories. I'm sorry, yeah, Ghost Stories. Yeah, it's completely ad-libbed. Yeah. Yes. Oh, God, yes. Gozaburo and what's the name of it? Mermaid. My Bride's a Mermaid. There's another one, Mermaid Melody, and I keep getting confused. My Bride's a Mermaid, and the reason it was brutal is because every line I did was like this. Yes, that would be delightful. Thank you. I'm going to the bathroom. I mean, it was just every flipping line. In fact, I screamed so much. It would be work for 10 minutes, break for 30 minutes. Work for 10 minutes, break for 30 minutes. And when I was doing it at Funimation, they would purposely go, okay, we're coming up, we're bringing you up, we need you for like 6 hours for this show, and we need you for 2 hours for this show, and an hour for this show, and here's a little Full Metal, blah, blah, blah. Everything I did was always before I had to go do Ghostboro. Because it was like, if I did Ghostboro first, I'd walk into the booth for the next show and just go, all right, let's go. So yeah, it was fun, and I'm glad people love it, but it was absolutely brutal. Absolutely brutal. Just, did y'all see Black Swan?
Yeah.
It was that kind of blood. Oh, so yeah, I see Black Swan for the first time on a plane up here. Thank you, Alaska Airlines, for editing for content. Stupid movie when you edit it for content. Anyway, sorry. Yeah. Yes, ma'am.
What is your favorite role of all time?
The role of being a father. To my 3 lovely children, Olivia, Joshua, and Sarah, who I recently sold. Got a pretty good price for them, too. That's so difficult a question to ask for any voice actor. Your favorite role is the one you're doing. But, I mean, they're all fun. Because, and this is something for me that I really enjoy. That, I've never gotten to play Edward, like Vic, or Death, or, I don't get the roles that Todd and Habercorn and those other guys get, because they've got a wussier voice than mine. I get to play the badasses, this and that. But because of that, I've gotten the joy of playing more roles and done more shows than any other actor in North America. I've done, I mean, it's a thank you. It's a, that and $5 will get me a Starbucks. But I mean, it's just, as my wife says, Vic is the Brad Pitt of anime. I am the Kevin Bacon